Vintage Story is not an easy game. The learning curve is real. Someone recently asked me, "Hey Drax, where's a good place to build your first home?" I laughed and said, "Hey, dirt looks good anywhere." In this video, I try to answer that question and show you my favorite starter locations. After you pick a fabulous beard, the game dumps you into the world and you're truly on your own. So now what? Well, I think you have a handful of options. Let's go through them one by one. Of note, these are simply suggestions to help. I'm not saying do this to win the game. As if you could win at Vintage Story. Come on. Right here looks good. I think making your initial claim right next to or on top of the spawn location is a solid plan. The chance of you dying and having to run back is high. Building your first mud hut right here and getting your bearing should help with the respawn run back fatigue. In my first playthrough, I ran far from the spawn, but after a couple of respawns, spent the rest of the game close to spawn. In my many restarts, I still find myself staying close to the spawn point, at least for the first year. Settling or building near water is high on my list. In the beginning, you don't really have a way to transport water until you get a bucket. Growing crops and having to water them via a watering can is not fun. So I try to find a place near water so I can plant some crops. Water has many uses, and being close just makes smart Vintage Story sense. Also, there's always the chance you set yourself on fire and need to jump in to cool off. If I found water, then the next item on my list is always a hill or a mountain. Two reasons here. First, if I can burrow into the side of a hill or mountain, it's 1 or 3 fewer walls I need to build. Early on, not having to use up my flint tools is key. Second, and this is a longer term goal, I will use the hill or mountain to build a windmill. Building a windmill on top of a hill will save resources and time, plus it just looks cool. This tip is not really a tip, but more of course, Drax. Finding a beautiful or amazing location. This sounds easy, but trust me, it can be really hard. Not because there are not beautiful locations in the game, but that there are too many. The hard part will be saying, yes, this is the spot. I mean, you're going to be spending a ton of time hanging out in this area. You should love it. Beauty is an inspiration for building. I think weather is a factor in where you decide to live as well. This will not be something you think of right from the start, as it will be spring, warm, green, and an abundance of sticks everywhere. But there are many factors to think about here. Do you like snow? Are you cool with it being summer year-round? One of my friends moved recently in-game because she picked a location that was beautiful, but it rained all the time, which was no fun. I personally like the seasons in-game and try to not go too far south. My overall advice to new players is location's not really all that important. Finding, collecting food, and thinking about that first clay pot is higher on my list. Your location is secondary your first couple times playing the game. As you spend more time with the game, your favorite locations will become more important and easier to spot. Share your starter location tips with me in the comments below. Also, what's your starter building material? Mine? Dirt, of course. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. The video's over. Now it's time for you to do your part. Follow, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.